Well, welcome back, everybody. Brad Clark here from Channel Guru, and it's with my great pleasure today I get to welcome you to Web Kirkhoff and TopLeft. But before I do, just a reminder, here at Channel Guru, we remain deeply focused on finding the best of technologies in the market to help you in your organization be successful. And one of those fantastic solutions we've recently come across is TopLeft. So good to see you, Wim. How are you?
Oh, doing amazing.
Our absolute pleasure, mate. So tell us a little bit about yourself, how you founded TopLeft.
So I started my MSP over 18 years ago. It's just me, and grew it from there. And we got to 4 or 5, I think it was more like 10 employees. And we were struggling with project management. Even though we had a PSA in place, we happened to be using ConnectWise. We struggled with seeing what to do next, estimating, delivering projects on time. And actually, we're bungling projects so bad that we lost clients. So look for better ways, better methods, better visuals, and started this journey to TopLeft.
Yeah, it's interesting, mate. I love it when founders of technology that's focused to help MSPs comes from people who have owned MSPs, because you know how difficult it is to be able to effectively operate a business. And the business model is becoming even more complex today than it's ever been. And a lot of different partners have different PSA providers that they use, but I believe your technology stretches across most of the core PSA providers.
Yeah, the top 3 in this space, so ConnectWise, PSA, Autotask, and Halo.
Awesome. Well, I'd like to jump into a bit more detail, maybe show the audience a little bit of a day in the life. What's it like to be a partner who can utilize a great tool like TopLeft?
Yeah, well, let's just talk about what people are using before they come to us, which in all these PSAs, it's a similar challenge. I'll just sharing a screen here of ConnectWise, and again, Autotask, Halo, the same thing, is you have lists of information. It's really not much better than an Excel file. And it's hard to see where you're stuck, where you're behind, what's getting neglected, what needs some love today, what are the bottlenecks. And that's where they start Googling for ConnectWise or Autotask, project management, and they come to us. And because they're struggling, their projects are late, clients want to know when it's going to be done, or when the sales team wants to know when they can onboard a new client with confidence and not just suck up a number and then end up being late on it. And the traditional methods of scheduling and dispatch just don't work. They're broken.
I'm not an expert in PSAs at all, but it doesn't look like it prioritizes very well. It just seems to be, to your point, a list of information that, I don't know, it just feels too easy to pick the things that are easy to get done and perhaps ignore the more complex or harder jobs. And so is that something you guys solve for? Like how do you understand what is the most important independent of the complexity of solving for the problem?
And so we do that with the Kanban method. So here's our product. So it's a lot like sticky notes on a whiteboard. Literally some MSPs use that approach because they're like, we can't rely on the digital tools. Let's just go physical and just very tactile, which obviously doesn't work being remote. So this is like a Trello or Microsoft Planner, but integrated to existing data. So you're not having to double enter or trying to synchronize with another system. And so in this case, this is the exact same projects, the 14 projects that we had in the list, but it's in this Kanban format. So columns of what are ideas, proposal, backlog, ready to start, what's been started, and what's done. And so you can drag and drop, and it'll update ConnectWise accordingly as you update your statuses. And you get these red warnings of over budget, over the dates, those sorts of things.
So it's a natural progression then of these tickets from left to right, as you just shared.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to be able to know exactly where you got the backlog, what's behind it. Visually, I'm a visual kind of thinker and learner. For me, it's so much more easy to engage in this view than it would be just a list of activities.
Yeah, and you got that. The left to right flow is where it's at. So we talk about a pipeline, like a river, like a road, and we want to engineer for flow, getting stuff done. So we focus less on utilization and is stuff moving smoothly to completion, not getting reopened, not bouncing back and forth. And so left to right flow is key, then minimizing the work in progress. So for each of these columns is reducing what's in there. And so here we're highlighting, we've got 5 in progress projects, and we've got a limit of 4, because we know at 4 we have our peak throughput. The more you have, the more multitasking there is, the longer your meetings get, everything gets drawn out.
And so this is a single dashboard that the entire organization's got the same view at the same time, or is this assigned by user?
This is one. So your project manager might be looking at your portfolio as a whole. If you've got, let's say, 30, 40, 100, 200 projects, but then the engineer would use a different view. So if we go, I'll bring that up. So I'll bring up a combined project and ticket view. Invariably, even when you have a dedicated project team, engineers are still doing some service escalations, and you may bring in service team to do some project work, like field work, on-site work. So this view brings all your work into one screen, which basically none of the PSAs seem to do. You have separate ticket lists and project lists, and you got your calendar. So this is all in one place. So I'm logged in as Peter. I'll say, just show me my tickets. And here's all its work in one place. So here he's working on a mainframe memory error. That's a service ticket, has a white background. The green ones are coming from a project board. So here's a handoff sales to service meeting. And so the idea is he would work on the ticket, enter his time, which you can do right out of the product here, and then move it over to completed. And then grab the next ticket. So your prioritization, if you look at your ready column, that's where Peter would pull from next. And the idea is you have a coordinator or a project manager who's prioritizing that. The first card, that top left card, is the most important thing to do next.
Well, why is that? Because isn't it you said before that was the newest ticket, you're moving from right to left? Or is it,
right?
Does it also stack with that level of prioritization? Because I think it's important, right? I think it's a bit too easy for people to go pick off the easy job or what's new, as opposed to a lingering issue that might be a challenge to fix.
Yeah, and so we want to highlight, is there cherry picking? Because that destroys performance, right? Because then the sticky things don't move ahead. And so that's clear here, is like, he should be working, engineers should think about right to left actually when finishing their work. Is these completed tickets, they might just need like a final review, like a quality assurance review. Did we get everything? Now let's close it. In progress, well, let's finish it. The scheduled, well, you got to wait till then. The waiting, let's follow up with these people. And so we can see here some notes of last note added 4 months ago. So I can go in and put a note on it and say, called and left a voicemail to check in with the client. Add it to the ticket, and let's just submit that. And now that red warning is gone. So making sure we're getting rid of the red on our tickets, these warnings. And then if there's truly nothing more to do, then he would pull from ready. And pulling from the top. Again, we got the warnings, like you can have due dates on here as well if you need to. And then so that shows on the ticket, so it's due in 1 day. So that's visible for him. And then the color on the card is representing the priority coming from your PSA. So I could set this to priority 1 if it's an emergency, if something's down. So now it's gone to red. And so you could sort these manually. So a manager could sort them and say, hey, Peter, you got to grab from the top. And trust me, I've got the right priorities here. And if you're stuck, then go find somebody. Don't just put it back on the stack and grab the next one. But we highly recommend doing a daily huddle as a core practice with the team. And that's where, talk about the priorities, but where are you stuck? Where do you need some help? And it could be training, mentorship. You just need a bit of information. Often people are procrastinating on these tickets. They're cherry picking because they just haven't done it and they don't know where to start. They don't know where the procedure is. And they just need like a 5-minute conversation and they'll get them into it.
Yeah, I love that notion, Wim. It's one of the things that we advocate strongly for. In fact, we created some content last week, really talking about the importance of that daily support huddle. And then maybe only 5 minutes, but everyone collectively coming together to solve for problems that may exist, support tickets that needs some further engagement in the organization, or even just understanding the project work that's taken place that day, right? Just to ensure that everyone is connected and having a platform that supports that conversation, I think is super powerful.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, this is a tool to facilitate communication, showing status of what you're doing, removing the micromanaging, streamlining those meetings. So I'm planning a webinar with a client. He's sharing his story. Project team of like 5 people. They spend only 1 hour a week in project meetings. All right, and then the rest of the week they're just doing stuff. And he's like, we don't miss our dates. There's no drama. I'm not having to micromanage or nag people where they're at because the board shows it. So they're all working from the board.
Yeah, that's awesome, mate. Fantastic. Any other examples you can share with us, data points around, MSPs who've deployed TopLeft and the impact it's had at the organization?
Yeah, the story I always share is from one of our MSPs in Australia called TIBA. So Steve Saradellis actually presented a whole webinar on how he did this, improving his project performance. And he measured over 6 months, he improved his project efficiency by 58%. Used to be over budget and late, and got it to be under budget by like 30%. So just imagine if you're an MSP doing $1 million of projects, if you can compress that down, you could potentially get another $500,000 of project revenue with your existing team. Well, just come up to the website and book a demo, and we'll look at your situation, talk about your portfolio, how many projects you got, what does your team look like, and talk about implementation and how this would look like to roll it out. So.
Fantastic. Well, we're so excited to welcome TopLeft to the Channel Guru family. As we shared at the start, our mission is to really help all tech partners be successful with the best of tools and services. And we just love what you're doing with TopLeft, mate, and we thank you for the partnership.
You're welcome.